my cherished chosen one. Pause and let this sacred moment envelop your heart, for you stand at a divine crossroads, a holy juncture where your authenticity becomes your eternal calling. You have walked away from those who undervalued you, not with regret, but with a quiet strength that speaks louder than any words. You carry no burdens of what you left behind, for you have lost nothing of true value and gained everything that matters: your freedom, your truth, your purpose. Those who mocked your struggles, who doubted your efforts, now choke on their own arrogance as they watch you rise, their world crumbling in the wake of your departure. This isn't merely an exit, it's a reckoning, a moment of divine clarity that reveals the power you always held. They thought they had you trapped, confined within their small, self-serving games, believing you were their convenience, their safety net, their endless source of strength. But they failed to see the radiant light within you, the unyielding spirit I placed in your soul. As my chosen one, when you walked away, you didn't just leave. You erased your presence so completely that they are forced to confront the emptiness of their existence without you. Without you, they are diminished, their illusions shattered like fragile glass. If this truth resonates in your spirit, igniting a fire to embrace your divine freedom, write, Lord, I am free below, proclaiming your readiness to stand in the light I have given you. They may call your departure dramatic, feign shock, or whisper that you've changed, that you've grown cold, but you haven't changed. You've awakened. You realized that staying wasn't loyalty. It was a slow erosion of your soul. Choosing yourself over those who only valued you for what you could give them is not betrayal. It's salvation. The painful truth they now face is that they don't miss you. They miss the comfort you provided, the control they wielded, the energy you poured into their lives without reciprocation. They grieve not your absence, but the loss of their own convenience, the safety net you once were. Your departure has forced them to confront the void they tried to hide beneath your sacrifices. Like a house built on sand exposed when the tides recede. But you, my chosen one, didn't leave with anger or pleas for validation. You didn't scream or demand their attention. You simply walked away. And that silence is the loudest goodbye they'll ever hear. Your indifference, your choice to no longer bend to their expectations, is the most profound reckoning they'll face. Like a mirror reflecting their own shortcomings. You've reclaimed the power they pretended you didn't have, the power they tried to siphon from you. But they misunderstood one eternal truth. The strength of my chosen ones doesn't fade. It grows, it evolves, it rises like a flame that cannot be extinguished. Now, they're left in the ruins of their own delusions. While you soar into the destiny I've prepared for you. You were always there, my chosen one, but they never truly saw you. They lost not just you, but the privilege of your presence. And now they're left with only the echo of what they failed to cherish. They sit in stunned silence, questioning how you could leave. But the truth is, you were already gone long before your footsteps faded. You were a shadow in their midst, a presence moving through their expectations, a voice speaking only when they demanded it. They didn't notice the fire in your eyes dimming under their neglect, the exhaustion behind your forced smiles. They mistook your silence for surrender, your patience for acceptance. But deep within, you knew you were done long before they realized it. They assumed you'd always be there, a constant fixture in their world, because you always had been, the one who stayed. No matter how heavy the burden became, they grew comfortable with a version of you that gave without limit, sacrificed without question, and buried your own needs to serve their convenience. You were predictable to them, easy to overlook, yet impossible to live without. They never paused to ask if you were happy, if you felt seen, if you wanted to stay. They only cared that you remained, because as long as you did, they could avoid facing how little they gave in return. But your departure was not sudden. It was inevitable. Built on every quiet moment, you held your tongue. Every night you lay awake whispering to yourself, "I deserve more." Each sigh, each second guess, each forced smile was a silent goodbye they never noticed. Now, they stare at the empty space where you once stood, forced to see what was always true. You stayed out of habit, not love, out of duty, not belonging. And that truth shatters them, like a foundation crumbling under its own weight. They drained your light, my chosen one, then wept in the darkness of their own making. They thought your radiance was infinite, like a sun that never sets, never needing rest or care. They basked in your warmth, your strength, your steady presence, taking without limit, never pausing to wonder what would happen when you had nothing left to give. You were the fire that warmed their cold days, the flame that lit their path through chaos, the steady force that held their world together. They never asked if you were tired, if you were breaking under the weight of their demands. They assumed you'd shine forever, that no matter how much they took, you'd remain bright, strong, unwavering. But light requires fuel, care, respect, things they never offered. When your flame began to flicker, they didn't notice, too consumed by the glow you provided. They didn't care when your fire began to fade, because they believed it was your role to keep shining, no matter the cost. But I created you with a light that is yours to protect, not theirs to consume. When you walked away, you took back your radiance, leaving them to stumble in the darkness they created. They missed the clarity you brought to their chaos, the ease you brought to their struggles, the comfort of your presence. But they don't miss you. They miss what you did for them, the safety net you provided, the burdens you carried. Now they search for a replacement, but there is none, for your light was not something they could own. It was a gift you chose to share, and you've chosen to take it back. If this truth of your reclaimed light stirs your soul, write, "Lord, I shine for you below," proclaiming your commitment to guard the radiance I've given you. You shattered the cage they built around you, my chosen one. They didn't fear losing you. They feared you realizing you never needed them. They constructed a prison, but they called it love, loyalty, duty, wrapping it in words that made it seem like safety. But it was never about protecting you. It was about keeping you small, manageable, predictable, a piece in their carefully crafted puzzle. They didn't want you to think beyond their boundaries, to question their limits, to grow beyond their control. At first, you felt it, a tightness in your heart, a whisper in your spirit saying, "This isn't right." For a while, you ignored it, believing this was just how things were, that shrinking yourself might make it work. But then, a moment of clarity, perhaps one sharp instant, perhaps 1,000 small slights, revealed the cage for what it was, a prison disguised as a home. Once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. You began to push, to test the walls, to take up space, to become who I created you to be. That's when their panic set in. They saw you growing, refusing to be contained, and they resented it. Not because they loved you, but because they loved controlling you. They called you selfish, ungrateful, even cruel. But you didn't leave them. You left the version of yourself that fit their cage. You left the silence, the smallness, the need for their approval. They can't follow you, for they were never willing to break their own chains. Now, they watch as you rise, knowing they never held the power. They only thought they did, like a shadow mistaken for substance. Their power over you was an illusion, my chosen one, and you shattered it. True power is not control. It's the courage to walk away and watch their world unravel without you. For so long, they played their game well, cloaking their control in words like concern, loyalty, love, but it was never love. It was manipulation dressed as care. Every decision you made was subtly shaped, every boundary blurred just enough to keep you tethered. They fed you just enough validation to keep you returning, believing you needed their approval, that their opinions defined your path. They thought you were bound forever by guilt, obligation, or fear. But the moment you saw through their illusion, it was over. You didn't leave in anger or for revenge. You left because you outgrew their lies. You saw through the guilt trips, the mind games, the subtle ways they kept you small. You stopped bending, stopped shrinking, stopped doubting yourself to fit their world. That was the most powerful thing you could do, for it forced them to face the truth. Their control only existed as long as you allowed it. Now, they scramble in a world where you no longer play by their rules. Their empire of manipulation collapsed into dust. They sit in disbelief, asking how this happened. But the answer is clear. They built their power on the illusion that you'd never leave. And you proved them wrong. Like a bird breaking free from a cage, it was never meant to inhabit. If this truth of your reclaimed power strengthens your resolve, right, Lord, I walk in your strength below, proclaiming your commitment to live free in my truth. Your absence, my chosen one, is a wound they cannot heal. When you left, it wasn't just a goodbye. It was a rupture, a tear in the fabric of their world that lingers like an echo in an empty room. They thought they could move on, replace you, fill the gap with someone new. But some spaces cannot be filled, for you were not just a presence. You were the glue that held their world together, the steady force that kept chaos at bay. You were the quiet foundation they overlooked, the constant they took for granted. They assumed you'd always be there, unnoticed like air until it's gone, unquestioned like gravity until the fall. Now, they choke on the emptiness your absence left behind. Every awkward silence, every mistake they can't fix, every moment that feels wrong, it screams of your absence. They try to drown it out with distractions, with substitutes, but nothing fits. Your energy, your presence, your vision wasn't just an addition. It was the cornerstone that kept their world from crumbling. They thought they'd be fine without you, that life would continue seamlessly. But your absence isn't just a gap. It's a wound that won't heal, a reminder of what they lost when they failed to value you. They had something rare, something extraordinary, and they let it slip away, like a treasure discarded for trinkets. Now, they live with the cold realization that they cannot replace you, for you were the spark that made their world feel alive. They fed off your strength, my chosen one, and now they starve without it. They didn't love you. They loved the way you held their world together while yours quietly unraveled. They leaned on your resilience like it was an endless well, a force I placed in you to weather their storms while they refused to face their own. When their lives spiraled, they ran to you. When their emotions crashed, they leaned on you. When chaos reigned, they turned to you to fix it. You were their shelter, their quiet savior, making it look effortless as you carried their burdens with a calm face, swallowing your struggles in silence. They never stopped to ask who was holding you up, who was tending to your heart. Because you never broke. They assumed you never would. They mistook your endurance for duty, your patience for permission to take without giving. But strength is not infinite. It requires care, respect, reciprocation. You gave until there was nothing left. And when you chose yourself, they lost more than a person. They lost their foundation. Now, the cracks in their world are undeniable. The chaos you once managed swallowing them whole. They thought they could depend on you forever, but now they face the wreckage they created, the mess you shielded them from for too long. Let them struggle, for they must learn to stand without you. If this truth of your reclaimed strength stirs your heart, write, Lord, I am your fortress below, proclaiming your resolve to protect the strength I've given you. They thought they could replace you, my chosen one, but you are irreplaceable. They believed someone else could fill your space, that your presence was just a role to be played, a script to be followed. But they were wrong, for your authenticity cannot be mimicked. They can try to copy your words, your actions, even find someone who vaguely resembles you, but they'll learn the hard way. Authenticity is not something you can borrow or steal. It's woven into your soul, a gift I gave you that no one can replicate. They built their world on illusions, on pleasing others, on bending to fit expectations. But you were different. You spoke truth, lived truth, refused to be anything but yourself. That scared them, challenged them, for your realness exposed their pretense. Instead of rising to meet you, they tried to dim you, to make you smaller so they wouldn't have to grow. Now, without you, their world feels hollow. Forced laughter, shallow conversations, empty gestures. They scramble to fill the void with distractions, but nothing compares to the depth you brought, the fire in your words, the presence that made everything matter. They know it now, though they may pretend otherwise. Your absence is a reminder of what they lost, the only real thing in their world, like a rare gem they failed to cherish. Your absence is their mirror, my chosen one, and they cannot look away. When you left, it wasn't just a loss. It was a reckoning, forcing them to see the cracks they ignored, the flaws you held together with your strength. They leaned on your wisdom to cover their poor choices, your kindness to excuse their selfishness. As long as you were there, they could pretend, distract, deflect. But now, your absence exposes everything. The toxic cycles they thought they could sustain, the manipulation they used to control you, the illusions of power they clung to. Without you, they must face the questions they avoided. Why didn't I value them? Why did I push them away? What does it say about me that someone so loyal, so giving, chose to leave? That last question stings deepest. For it's one thing to be abandoned. It's another to realize you earned it. You were their shield, protecting them from their own shortcomings. But now they stand exposed, their reflection unforgiving. They had something extraordinary, and they lost it. Not because you were cruel, but because they failed to see your worth. Let them face that truth, for it's a lesson they need to learn. Like a seed that must break open to grow. They counted on your guilt, my chosen one, but you broke free. They thought they had you bound, not by force, but by the quiet pressure of obligation. They wove guilt around you, making you feel that leaving was selfish, that choosing yourself was betrayal. They played their roles well, feeding you just enough validation to keep you tethered, convincing you that love or loyalty meant putting yourself last. For a while, it worked. You stayed, you gave, you sacrificed, even when it drained you. But then, a moment of clarity cut through the fog. You were betraying yourself by staying. The guilt they used was a leash to keep you small, to keep you serving their needs. When you saw it for what it was, everything changed. You walked away without hesitation, without apologies. And that broke them. Not just because you left, but because you left without guilt. They weren't prepared for you to choose yourself so decisively, to realize that loyalty without reciprocation is self-destruction. Now, they replay the moment you slipped through their fingers, unable to grasp how they lost you. But the truth is simple: they never had you. They only had your guilt, and you've set yourself free. If this truth of your liberated heart strengthens your resolve, write, "Lord, I am yours alone," below, proclaiming your freedom to live for my purpose. You were their comfort, my chosen one, and now you're their wake-up call. They thought they had endless time to take you for granted, to push you aside, to play their games while you waited in the background, always ready to forgive, always willing to sacrifice. But time ran out. Your departure wasn't just a goodbye. It was a siren shattering their delusions, a wrecking ball to their false security. They never imagined a world without you, always there to clean up their messes, to smooth over their mistakes. They assumed you'd bend forever, never realizing you'd break free. Now, your silence is their loudest punishment. Your absence a reminder of every misstep, every moment they ignored your worth. They try to distract themselves, to fill the void with noise or replacements, but nothing feels the same. You were their anchor, the balance that made their world work, and now they're adrift in the chaos they created. They thought they needed you more than you needed them, but they were wrong. You were the one holding everything together. Every day without you is a reminder of how badly they failed, like a ship lost without its compass. But you, my chosen one, are done being their lesson. You're free to build a life where you don't have to shrink to fit anyone's world. You were the fire in their gray world, my chosen one, the spark that made their existence feel alive. They surrounded themselves with the predictable, the safe, a dull routine where nothing changed. Until you arrived, you weren't just a presence. You were a force, disrupting their complacency, exposing the cracks in their mediocrity. Your energy, your authenticity, your refusal to settle for less. It challenged them, reminded them that life is more than just existing. You were proof that something extraordinary is possible, a living testament to the potential I placed within you. But that terrified them, for they craved stability over growth, comfort over courage. Instead of rising to meet you, they resented you, tried to dim your light to avoid facing their own stagnation. They kept you close to feel connected to something greater, but they never intended to match your drive. Now that you're gone, their world feels smaller, colder, like a room stripped of its warmth. They thought they could return to their routine, but your absence is a gaping hole, a reminder of what they could have been if they'd had the courage to grow. They lost not just you, but their chance at something more, like a garden left untended, wilting without care. They never loved you, my chosen one. They loved controlling you. They valued not you, but the way you made their lives easier, the way your presence kept their world spinning. To them, you were a piece in their puzzle, a character in their story, not a person with your own dreams and desires. They never thought you'd leave because they believed you were theirs to command, to shape, to keep small. Your kindness they mistook for obedience, your patience for permanence. But you were never meant to be owned, never meant to shrink to fit their expectations. They convinced themselves your identity could be molded to serve their needs. But when you walked away, you shattered that illusion. You rejected the cage they built, tore up the unspoken contract that demanded you give, tolerate, and stay small so they could feel big. Your departure was a declaration you are not theirs to control. They grieve not your absence, but the loss of their ability to shape you, to keep you tethered to their will. That truth haunts them, like a shadow they cannot escape. For they realize now that the version of you they loved was a projection, not the real you who now stands free. If this truth of your unyielding freedom stirs your spirit, write, Lord, I am unbound below, proclaiming your commitment to live as I created you. Some doors don't slam, my chosen one. They close quietly. And that silence speaks louder than any outburst. They expected a scene, a plea for validation, a final cry to prove they mattered. But you gave them none of that. You walked away with a quiet resolve, a decision so firm it left them reeling in the wreckage of their illusions. They thought they had time to keep you under their control, to manipulate, to guilt you into staying. But your patience was not weakness. It was a countdown, a sacred timer I set within you. When it reached 0, you left without hesitation, without looking back, without needing their approval. That terrified them, for it revealed their power was never real. It existed only as long as you allowed it. They call you heartless, selfish, but what they mean is, how dare you choose yourself? They weren't afraid of losing you. They were afraid of losing their grip on you. Your silence is their loudest punishment, a void filled with every truth they refuse to face. They see it in every empty moment, every unfinished conversation, every reminder that the one they relied on is gone. You were the one holding their world together, and now it unravels, piece by piece. But you, my chosen one, are free. Free to be everything they never let you be. Free to build a life where your worth is never questioned. Free to become unstoppable in my love. You didn't lose by leaving. You awakened, stepping into the destiny I prepared for you, like a river finally reaching the open sea. They never thought you'd find the courage to leave, but you did, and it is finished. That hold over you is broken forever. And now, as you stand in the freedom I've led you into, they are left stunned, because what they see in you is exactly what heaven has declared from the very beginning. My chosen one, lean in and listen carefully, because this message is no ordinary message. At this very moment, 3 separate people are lying awake at night, turning over questions in their minds, wrestling with emotions they can't control. All because of you. Can you feel it? Their souls are restless, their hearts pounding, their thoughts consumed by the light you carry. They don't know about each other. They don't realize that their individual obsessions are like rivers flowing toward a single ocean, and that ocean is you. They have no idea that all their private struggles, suspicions, and secret admiration are about to collide in a divine orchestration that will become the most spectacular, undeniable validation of your true character that anyone has ever seen. You didn't ask for this attention. You didn't stage this collision. You were simply living in your authentic frequency, radiating truth so pure that it disrupted every illusion within reach. Have you ever wondered why your mere existence provokes such intense reactions? Why people either adore you in silent awe or attempt to dismantle you in desperate defense? It's because you are a mirror they cannot avoid. Your authenticity demands that everything false either shatters or transforms. This is your moment of overflow, my chosen one. The tables are being set, the truth is rising to the surface, and your name is being prepared to be spoken in rooms you never even knew existed. I want to take a moment to say thank you truly, deeply from the bottom of my spirit. Thank you to every one of you who has supported this journey through your energy, your presence, and especially those of you who have offered your support in ways that help these words reach further. Your generosity allows these messages to touch and awaken more souls around the world. But hear me clearly, whether you offer such support or not, you are deeply valued here. Your spiritual presence is a gift in itself, and I am grateful for every like, every comment, every silent nod you give while receiving this. And now I invite you to stand boldly in this moment with me. This isn't just another message. This is a spiritual announcement. The divine convergence is upon you, the watchers, the admirers, the cynics. All their stories are spiraling toward one undeniable revelation. You are exactly who heaven declared you to be. The revolution of authenticity is beginning, and you are its chosen proof. Welcome to your destiny. Welcome to the unveiling. Welcome home. My chosen ones, they're stunned. You're exactly who heaven declared you are. My chosen one. Listen closely, for this message is sacred. Right now, 3 people lie awake, consumed by you. One obsessively dissects your life, desperate to prove you false, yet their efforts only reveal your truth. Why else would they try so hard unless they sense your extraordinary light? Another is frozen, believing you're too divine, too pure for them. Have you noticed how true greatness silences words? A third watches from afar, torn between awe and fear, your authenticity shattering their cynical walls. Unbeknownst to them, their separate paths are divinely woven to collide in a moment that will affirm your character undeniably. The schemes meant to ruin you will instead become your greatest testimony, like a diamond shining brighter under pressure, reminding you to stand firm in your glow, guiding you to trust that trials lead to greater purpose. The investigator faces evidence so pure it humbles them, their failure piercing their soul as they realize they fought the wrong battle. Are you ready for me to set a table for you, turning traps into your elevation, assuring you that what was meant for harm is your blessing? Soon, this investigator will shock all by defending you, a reversal like one pushed aside only to rise higher, encouraging you to hold faith as setbacks become comebacks, or picture one attacked for truth, their voice only amplified, urging you to keep your heart open through adversity. My chosen one, let me take you deep inside the labyrinthine mind of someone who has been secretly, obsessively trying to dismantle your credibility. Picture this person hunched over notebooks, replayed conversations, dissecting your every move like a scientist examining an exotic creature. They have convinced themselves they're the noble hero in this story, the righteous one destined to unmask you as a fraud. But have you ever asked yourself, why would someone dedicate so much energy to tearing you down unless they already sensed your light was too bright for them to ignore? For weeks, They've been constructing what they believed was an airtight case against you. They weren't satisfied with simple observations or rumors. No, they designed elaborate moral tests meant to corner you, to push you into situations where you'd have to pick between your declared values and a tempting immediate gain. Did you notice when certain friends started asking suspiciously specific questions about your past? Did you feel the strange energy in conversations that seemed innocent, but somehow invasive? All of this was orchestrated by this investigator who has been searching for any crack in your armor. You didn't just stand the test, you walked through it unaware and yet victorious. Can you see how heaven was silently equipping you even when you thought you were just living your normal life? This person believed with unwavering certainty that no one could possibly be as authentic as you seem. Your unwavering consistency offended them. Your moral backbone unsettled them. Your integrity looked so immovable that it began to reveal the shadows in their own heart. They reasoned that if they could prove you were fake, then all their masks, lies, and games would feel justified. If they could expose you as deceptive, then their own manipulations would appear human and excusable. But what happens when their plan unravels before their very eyes? What if instead of unmasking you, they accidentally unmask themselves? Think about a figure relentlessly pursued and scrutinized, yet through all the invasive tactics, their genuine compassion and authenticity only shone brighter, encouraging you to trust that your true self will always prevail over scrutiny, comforting you that each challenge polishes your spirit like a gem under refinement. Or consider someone who faced constant surveillance and attempts to discredit them, where every effort to trap them only strengthened the proof of their unwavering mission and character, guiding you to see that your path is protected and that standing firm brings deeper inner peace and clarity. Doesn't it make you wonder why true light cannot be dimmed, no matter how fiercely darkness fights it, as each trap was laid? You passed through it with such natural grace and honesty that it left them speechless. Every time they tried to expose you, they ended up exposing another layer of your unwavering soul. They are now standing on the precipice of their greatest fear, that you truly are exactly who you say you are. This is more than just a failure for them. It's an existential crisis. Your life, my chosen one, is a living example of transformation through steadfastness. You have refused to bend, refused to lower your standard, and in doing so, you've held up a mirror that forces others to confront the hollowness of their own justifications. Look at someone constantly doubted and attacked, ridiculed for their ideas. But each failure and each trial only revealed their genuine belief in their mission to inspire change, reminding you that your own trials are forging a stronger version of yourself, encouraging you to persist with the knowledge that your authenticity will inspire others in ways you can't yet see. Or think about a quiet act of defiance that revealed the flaws in an unjust system, showing you that small stands of integrity can shift entire perspectives, comforting you to keep walking securely in your truth as it builds layers of divine protection around you. Do you see the pattern heaven uses chosen ones like you to shake up the world's illusions and expose hidden truths? Your integrity is not only protecting you, it's turning every attack into a new layer of divine testimony. Now their humiliation is reaching a crescendo, a symphony of self-exposure they can no longer escape. It's no longer just about proving you wrong. It has turned into a painful confrontation with their own capacity for deception and self-betrayal. They will be forced to stand in the raw light of your authenticity, and in that moment, every mask they've worn will crack. So, Are you ready for this divine unveiling? Are you prepared to see your enemies become unwilling witnesses to your true identity? This isn't just a test you've passed. It's a revelation to the world that you are exactly who heaven declared you to be. And that, my chosen one, is a victory no one can ever take from you. My chosen one. Let's step into the heart of another soul who's been silently orbiting around you, carrying a story so delicate it could either break them into pieces or transform them completely. While the first investigator has been obsessively trying to dismantle your authenticity, this second person has been busy building an altar to your presence in their mind. They've constructed an image of you that is so impossibly elevated, so mythically flawless that they can hardly breathe when they're near you. Can you imagine living each day believing that someone you admire is far beyond your reach? Have you ever wondered what it does to a person's spirit when they convince themselves they're unworthy of something they deeply desire? Every time they see you overcome trials with divine grace, they weave another golden thread into the tapestry of your perfection. In their imagination, you are surrounded by people who are more beautiful, more accomplished, and more deserving than they could ever dream to be. They think, how could I possibly be chosen by someone who seems to have the entire universe at their feet? But here's the cruel irony. In every interaction, you have made them feel seen, cherished, and deeply valued. You've never once used your confidence to diminish them. You've never weaponized your light to cast shadows over anyone else. You, my chosen one, embody love effortlessly. You don't just talk about love, you live it. Your warmth and genuine spirit have been a mirror for them to see their true worth, even when they refuse to look. Yet, despite all of this, they continue to torture themselves with the belief that they're not good enough for you. Why? Because they are entangled in a narrative about their own worth that has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with old wounds and silent insecurities. They assume you must judge them as harshly as they judge themselves. Isn't it heartbreaking to see how often we become prisoners of our own stories rather than the truth before us? Think about a person often described as too humble, too gentle for a harsh environment, yet beloved precisely because of their gentle authenticity, guiding you to embrace your own gentleness as a strength that draws others closer, comforting you that your true nature is a gift that heals both you and those around you. Or consider someone admired globally who struggled deeply with feelings of unworthiness and not being enough, reminding you that even in moments of doubt, your value remains unchanging, encouraging you to extend the same compassion to yourself that you offer others. You have treated this person as precious without even knowing the depth of their inner war. Through your pure presence, you've modeled unconditional acceptance, a living testimony to divine love. As they watch you handle the investigators' schemes with unwavering strength and radiant grace, they are beginning to see the truth. Their fear of being vulnerable with you isn't about you at all. It's about their fragile relationship with their own sense of worth. They're realizing you never required them to perform or prove themselves. You only ever reflected back to them the love they denied themselves. Think of someone who, after being rejected many times and struggling with self-doubt, transformed into a symbol of resilience and courage by finally believing in their own value, directing you to let go of self-imposed limitations and step into your worth with confidence, assuring you that breakthroughs come when you choose to see yourself as I see you. Or consider a figure famously overlooked early on, who later became a master in their field by turning feelings of inadequacy into unstoppable momentum, comforting you that your journey is building towards something magnificent, guiding you to nurture your inner strength daily. If you sense the truth in these words resonating within your spirit, my chosen one, write 888 in the comments to affirm your readiness for this divine unfolding. This second person is about to understand that their value is not contingent on perfection or social worthiness, but on an unchanging divine love. Their breakthrough is coming, a moment when they'll realize that the story they've been clinging to was never about you. It was a prison built from their own insecurities. This realization is snowballing into a surge of courage so strong it will shock everyone, even themselves. Can you feel the electricity in the air? Can you sense the moment when they will finally choose to step into the truth of who they really are? So, my chosen one, are you prepared to witness the quietest person in the room become the boldest? Are you ready to see how your simple acts of love and authenticity have planted seeds of transformation in someone who thought they could never bloom? This isn't just a love story, it's a liberation story. And you, beloved, are the catalyst heaven chose to awaken them. My chosen one, let's look deeply into the soul of this third person, the one whose transformation might be the most earth-shattering of all. Their journey isn't just about you. It's about dismantling an entire fortress of beliefs that have shielded them from disappointment their entire life. Imagine a person who has spent decades convinced that every human being is fundamentally selfish, that true goodness is a fairy tale meant for children, and that anyone who appears genuinely caring must surely have some hidden agenda. Can you feel the walls they've built? Can you sense the armor they've worn for so long just to survive? Your existence has become an unsolvable riddle in their worldview. You don't fit into any of the categories they've created to stay safe. They have always believed that if they expect betrayal, they can never truly be hurt. If they assume everyone is playing a game, then their own manipulations become justified. If deep, authentic connection doesn't exist, then their loneliness becomes an intelligent strategy rather than a wound to heal. But you, my chosen one, have become the walking contradiction to everything they've ever believed. Watching you is like seeing someone walk on water. It shatters the very laws they thought governed human behavior. Your light isn't just bright, it's revolutionary. It doesn't just challenge opinions about you. It dismantles the entire framework they've depended on to justify their isolation and guardedness. Think about a man who devoted his life to kindness and genuine connection, despite skeptics accusing him of naivety or false sincerity, where his radical gentleness forced many to reconsider what it means to truly care, encouraging you to let your kindness be a force that softens hearts, comforting you that simple acts of goodness can change perspectives over time. Or consider someone whose fearless advocacy for positive change shamed cynics who thought the world was too cruel for real progress, guiding you to stand boldly in your convictions, assuring you that your persistence will inspire even the most doubtful souls. Don't these examples remind you that true light exposes the lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable? As this third person watches you, a crisis is building in their heart. If you are real, if someone can actually live with the unwavering integrity and luminous consistency that you embody, then what justification do they have for all their compromises? What excuse do they have for settling for shallow relationships, for avoiding vulnerability, for choosing numbness over connection? Your life, my chosen one, has become a living challenge to the cynical agreements they've made with themselves. Every silent act of kindness, every moment of unwavering grace, each choice to remain authentic rather than transactional, it all chips away at the walls they thought would protect them forever. Look at someone who grew up in hardship and was deeply skeptical of big dreams. But watching small acts of support shattered their cynicism and inspired them to create something based on connection and shared experiences, reminding you that small kindnesses can ignite great changes, encouraging you to keep sharing your light generously. Or think of a figure who endured long hardship that could have made them bitter, yet emerged as a symbol of forgiveness and authentic leadership that forced even the most jaded to question their beliefs about human nature, comforting you that your own endurance will lead to profound influence, directing you to choose goodness as your guiding principle. You, my chosen one, have become living evidence of overcoming negativity with positivity. Your presence challenges them to consider that there might be more to life than survival and strategy. You show them that love, real community, and integrity aren't just fantasies. They're possible, tangible, and transformative. Their transformation is now teetering on a knife's edge. They are approaching a tipping point where they will either reinforce their cynicism, retreating even further into isolation, or they will allow your example to blow open the prison doors of their heart. Imagine the power in that moment, the trembling vulnerability of finally believing that maybe, just maybe, true connection exists, and that they too might be worthy of it. My chosen one, can you feel it, the divine orchestration at play? The invisible threads weaving these three stories into one breathtaking tapestry that will soon explode into a moment of undeniable truth. All three of these journeys, the investigator's relentless pursuit, the admirer's silent reverence, and the cynic's internal battle, are about to collide in a way that will become the most powerful validation of authentic living any of them or anyone else around them has ever seen. Have you ever wondered why so many eyes are suddenly drawn to you? Why so many hearts feel an unexplainable pull toward your light? What none of these individuals have understood is that their private obsessions with you have not been isolated. In fact, they have been unknowingly collaborating in a chain reaction orchestrated by heaven itself. The investigator, driven by a need to destroy your credibility, has been pulling in others as informants, asking probing questions, sharing suspicions, and planting seeds of doubt. But here's the unexpected twist. Every person they've approached has started watching you more closely, not to catch you falling, but to understand what makes you worthy of such fierce scrutiny. Their suspicion has turned into intrigue, and that intrigue has evolved into silent respect. Without even realizing it, the investigator has been sharpening the community's focus on you, causing a ripple effect that only strengthens your testimony. Imagine how a leader under constant watch and criticism ultimately guided many to freedom, not by defending themselves, but by letting their unwavering faithfulness speak for them, guiding you to trust that your quiet consistency will draw others to truth, comforting you that my hand is weaving these threads for your good. Meanwhile, the admirer's visible struggle to find the courage to connect with you has not gone unnoticed. Mutual friends, people who thought they knew this person so well, have been left puzzled and fascinated. How could someone who exudes confidence in every other area become utterly speechless and shy in your presence? Their curiosity has become a silent invitation to observe you more deeply. They see the way you treat every person with warmth, respect, and a sense of sacred presence. This alone has started to shift hearts and break down old judgments. Think about someone who has inspired many through vulnerability and authenticity, where people see their open heart and raw honesty, and they can't help but look closer, drawn into their world, encouraging you to continue being open as it invites others to do the same, assuring you that your vulnerability is a strength that fosters deeper connections. Or consider a figure who, beyond surface appearances, shocked others with deep insights that challenged cynicism and inspired searches for meaning, reminding you that your inner wisdom will resonate and awaken souls, directing you to share your truth with gentle boldness. Then there's the cynic who is struggling with your light in public settings. Their visible discomfort, the awkward silences, the avoided eye contact, the subtle criticisms have all become loud clues to onlookers. People start to wonder what kind of person has the power to unbalance someone so sure of themselves. Their resistance has ironically spotlighted your integrity even more. It reminds us of a seeker secretly drawn to light because it exposed cracks in rigid systems, comforting you that even resistance can lead to breakthroughs, guiding you to remain steady as it highlights your true essence, your authenticity. My chosen one is my loudest affirmation over your life, and no cynicism or investigation can stand against it. Through all this observation, questioning, and quiet surveillance, something extraordinary has begun to form. A growing collective realization of who you really are. This revelation isn't being built on carefully managed narratives or rehearsed public relations strategies. It is being forged in the furnace of real-life moments under pressure. People aren't just hearing about your authenticity, they're seeing it for themselves. Think about someone whose attackers intended to silence them, but in the process they unintentionally gathered attention to witness their courage, encouraging you to see that opposition often amplifies your message, assuring you that your steadfastness will draw the right eyes. Or look at a visionary whose every move is dissected by critics and supporters alike. Yet the continuous scrutiny only strengthens the evidence of their unwavering vision, reminding you that living openly invites deeper understanding, directing you to embrace the gaze as part of your growth. You, my chosen one, are setting an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Your life is an open letter, a living sermon being read and studied by everyone around you, even those who intended to harm you. The investigator's imminent breakdown is going to act as a final catalyst. Their public unraveling will shock everyone who trusted their narrative, accelerating this collective awakening faster than anyone could have anticipated. Can you feel the moment approaching when even your greatest doubters will have to admit the undeniable? So, my chosen one, are you ready to see your light vindicated in the most unexpected ways? Are you prepared to witness a divine domino effect that not only elevates you, but also awakens everyone watching to the possibility of a life lived in fearless authenticity? Heaven is about to showcase you as a living testament to divine truth, not by your striving, but by simply being who you were created to be. Will you embrace this unveiling with the quiet power that only the truly chosen can carry, my chosen one? Everything you've been sensing lately, that eerie feeling of eyes on you, that strange tension when you enter a room, those curious questions meant to catch you off guard. It's all about to make perfect sense. You might have thought you were just imagining it, but every whisper, every lingering glance, Every awkward silence has been part of a larger divine tapestry. Can you feel the hidden movement beneath the surface? The hidden threads weaving these three stories together are revealing a deeper truth, not just about them, but about the incredible power you carry simply by existing. These three people, each lost in their private storms, are about to face a revelation so profound it will shake them to their core. The investigator's obsession with exposing you isn't really about you. It's a defense mechanism born from childhood wounds, from growing up surrounded by people wearing masks so convincing they forgot who they were. Their hypervigilance became their armor, a way to protect themselves from deception by assuming everyone was hiding something. But what happens when they encounter someone whose entire being radiates authenticity? Your unwavering light forces them to ask the terrifying question: what if genuine people do exist? What if they've been destroying potential connections all along with their endless suspicion? The admirer, on the other hand, carries a wound of a different kind, a wound that whispers, "You must be perfect to be loved." They've spent their entire life trying to earn affection, believing that only flawless people are worthy of real love. Your quiet confidence, your natural grace, triggers their deepest shame. If you are as radiant as you appear, how could you possibly see value in them? They interpret your kindness as pity, your interest as polite courtesy. Can you see the tragedy of someone interpreting love as condescension? And the cynic. Oh, the cynic. Their armor is forged from a lifetime of betrayal so deep they chose to abandon hope entirely. Their faith in human goodness shattered so completely that they built an identity around expecting the worst. But your consistent warmth, your genuine spirit challenges their deepest fear. What if they've been cutting themselves off from the very connections that could have healed them? What if their fortress of cynicism has been their biggest prison? Your very presence is this liberating truth. You didn't come to judge them. You didn't come to expose them. You simply came to live as you are. And in doing so, you have unknowingly triggered a healing crisis in each of them. Consider someone who chose reconciliation over revenge, transforming even the most cynical observers into believers in forgiveness, guiding you to extend grace as it heals both giver and receiver, comforting you that your choices ripple out in ways that mend broken spirits. Or think of a figure whose unwavering courage in the face of violence shattered countless assumptions about what is possible, encouraging you to stand firm, knowing your bravery inspires hope, assuring you that light always overcomes darkness. Think also of someone whose quiet kindness revolutionized what it means to be truly present with others, inviting many to rethink their capacity for gentleness, reminding you that your presence alone can soften hardened hearts, directing you to continue being a beacon of calm and compassion. Finally, look at a person whose humility in a world of ego has softened even the most skeptical hearts, comforting you that humility is a powerful force for change, guiding you to embrace it as your strength. My chosen one, as we arrive at this final chapter of your unfolding story, take a moment to breathe deeply and let the weight and the wonder of all this sink in. The three souls whose lives have collided so powerfully with yours will continue walking their own sacred paths toward authenticity. Each of them, now transformed by your silent influence, will ripple their newfound truth into their families, friendships, and communities. They will become walking reminders that radical change is not only possible, but contagious when ignited by a pure, unwavering example like yours. As you watch them grow, stumble, and rise again, you'll come to a revelation so simple, yet so profound. Being chosen was never about having extraordinary abilities or mystical powers. It has always been about being so fully, fearlessly yourself that your mere existence becomes a mirror for others to see where they are wearing masks. Can you feel that you are not a preacher shouting from a pulpit? You are a living sermon in motion. Your quiet, unwavering authenticity becomes a permission slip for everyone around you to finally ask themselves, what would my life look like if I stopped performing and started being? Imagine the sound of a perfectly tuned instrument vibrating in a room full of out-of-tune strings. Your spirit is that tuning fork, pure, steady, clear. In your presence, the illusions people have clung to begin to tremble and crack, not because you're exposing anyone on purpose, but because authenticity is a frequency so high and so true that all falsehood eventually sounds discordant beside it. Your life's melody makes every counterfeit note unbearable to maintain. What began as humiliation for some, the investigators' exposed schemes, the admirers' paralyzing self-doubt, the cynic's defensive sarcasm becomes the fertile soil for their rebirth. Their initial shame transforms into deep reverence, gratitude, and eventually liberation. Each one of them will tell their stories for years to come of how a single soul who refused to betray their own essence shattered their illusions and called them home to themselves. Your life embodies revelation. You didn't set out to reveal secrets or to change others by force. You simply lived in alignment with who you really are. And that pure light did the work only light can do: expose, illuminate, and heal. As this wave of authenticity spreads, opportunities and connections you never dreamed possible will begin to appear. Invitations will come from unexpected directions. Hearts that were once closed will open. Resources you didn't even know you needed will flow toward you like rivers finding the sea. Not because you manipulated energy or crafted a perfect strategy, but because the universe and heaven itself cannot resist a soul living in radical truth. Your harvest season has arrived, my chosen one. The seeds of kindness, integrity, and unyielding authenticity that you planted in silence and solitude are now blossoming before your eyes. There will come a moment when you fully understand that the recognition coming your way isn't truly about you as an individual. Rather, it's about what your life represents. You are the living evidence that it is possible to align actions with values, to bridge words with deeds, to fuse the internal knowing with the external expression. You're becoming an archetype, a lighthouse for souls lost in the storm of pretense and survival strategies. As the revolution of authenticity begins to take root, remember you are not just the spark, you are the flame. You are not just the example, you are the living proof that another way of being is possible. And more than that, it is powerful beyond imagination. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. My chosen one, you are that radiant light. And now, as you walk into this new phase of your life, you're not just stepping into destiny, you're opening a new portal for humanity itself. I want to pause and offer you my deepest gratitude for walking this journey so bravely and faithfully. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to your truth, even when no one else seemed to understand. Thank you for being the living embodiment of integrity when the world around you screamed for shortcuts and masks. And thank you for allowing me to walk beside you, to witness and to amplify your story. If you felt the resonance of this message deep in your bones. Know that your presence here, your energy, and your willingness to engage with these truths are more valuable than anything. Every like, every comment, every moment you spend reflecting on these words, it is all deeply felt and deeply honored. You have no idea how many souls are quietly awakening right now because you chose to show up in your light. And as you continue forward, I speak blessings over you. May your path be illuminated with divine guidance at every step. May doors open before you with miraculous ease. May every seed of love and integrity you've sown return to you 1,000-fold. May your heart remain soft yet strong, tender yet unbreakable. May you always remember that you are never alone. Heaven watches, the universe conspires, and your spirit family surrounds you with silent applause. Carry this truth as your armor and your anthem. When doubts arise, when shadows whisper their lies, remember you are exactly who heaven declared you to be. Your authenticity is not fragile. It is a divine weapon forged beyond time. My chosen one, this is not the end. This is your grand beginning. The recognition phase is not a trophy ceremony. It is the unfolding of a larger assignment that will call forth every ounce of your courage, love, and divine power. Welcome to your destiny. You are ready. You are anointed. You are the revolution. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening with an open heart. And thank you for simply being you. Now go forth and shine. Heaven is watching. The world is waiting. And the story you write from this moment on will echo through eternity. If you believe in the power of this message and feel its warmth in your heart, my chosen one, type, Lord, I embrace my light in the comments to declare your commitment to this path.